In this video, we will look into trigger function blocks in PLCs, what they are, why do we need them, and how to implement them in TwinCAT. Trigger function blocks are used to detect the transition or edges of Boolean signals. A transition occurs when the Boolean signal changes its value from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 0. When a signal changes from 0 to 1 or false to true, we get what is called the rising edge. And when a signal changes from 1 to 0 or from true to false, we get the falling edge. These edge detections are important in certain applications where it is more important to know the transition of the signal than the actual state of the signal. We will look into an example when we get into the coding portion of the video. TwinCAT offers two function blocks to detect these transitions. First one is the rtrig function block, which is the rising edge detector. The function block has one input called the clock and an output called Q. The output Q will remain false as long as the input variable clock is false. As soon as clock returns true, Q will return true for that PLC scan. It's important to know that the output stays true for one PLC scan only, because that's when the transition is detected. This means that all logic handling must happen in that one scan. For example, incrementing a counter or setting some other variable or some other bit. Similarly, the ftrig function block is the falling edge detector. Its output Q will remain false as long as the input variable clock returns true. As soon as clock returns false, Q will return true for that PLC scan. Now let's look into an example where we might implement edge detection or trigger function blocks. Consider a machine as represented by this box. It has a motor that is required for essential processes that the machine is supposed to do. The machine is controlled by a PLC. There is a safety controller which handles all of the machine safety. For simplicity, let's assume we have a single e-stop push button wired into the safety controller. The safety controller is programmed to send a machine safety OK signal to the PLC when the e-stop is not pressed. When an operator hits the e-stop, the machine safety OK signal resets. The PLC also receives a motor enable bit from an external process. This bit signals the PLC to start the motor. The motor is only allowed to run if the safety is okay. Hitting the e-stop will stop all machine processes, including the motor. With this in mind, let's switch over to TwinCAT and start coding. And let's try to implement that application in our PLC project. Let's head over to the training PLC, POUs. We'll start from main. So first we will need to create some variables. In this case, we need two bits, one for the motor running bit and one for the machine safety OK. And then we need an output bit to turn on some relay or contactors for the motor. So we'll go ahead and create the two input bits. Let's call them B enable motor and B machine safety OK. Let's just call it B machine safety of type bool. And for the output relay, let's call it B motor relay, which is also of type boolean. Let's go ahead and create a ladder logic program. We'll call it LD1. Add action LD1. and in ladder logic. So the requirement was both enable and safety OK have to be true in order to run the motor. So it looks like we need two input bits and an output bit. The output is just the B motor relay, and the inputs are enable motor and B machine safety OK. Now, in order to visualize what's going on, I have created a visualization for this. So we will pin this down here so it's available for display all the time. Okay, looks like this satisfies our requirement. Let's see what happens. Go back to main, make sure it's being called, and download the project. And run. Okay, so we switch over to our ladder logic. So this should switch on our enable motor bit, yes, and machine safety bit. And B motor relay comes on, and presumably our motor is running. Now you can control the motor just by the enable bit. And if it's running and someone hits the E stop, and that turns off the motor. Great, looks like everything's working just fine. Now what happens when the machine safety bit comes back on? So in our application, we had a simple or a single e-stop. But in most processes, there might be more than one e-stop. There might be other safety inputs like door switches, voltage monitors, fault monitoring, and many other types of safety devices. Usually, when a machine trips due to a safety breach, an, an investigation has to be done to figure out why the machine tripped, and the safety has to be cleared before the machine is allowed to run again. So imagine the safety checking has been completed and the control power has been restored to the machine. In our case, the safety controller, when it's satisfied, is going to send the machine safety OK bit to the PLC. Now, when that happens, the motor comes back on because the enable bit for the motor was still high. This may result in undesirable consequences. Maybe there was a person in the vicinity and can cause personal injury or harm to operators. An operator would have to acknowledge that the safety has been restored, and he should intentionally send the motor run command in order to run the motor and not have it turn on unexpectedly. So this approach is not good. Let's see what we can do. Detection comes in handy. Let's go ahead and implement an edge detection on the enable motor bit to see how this can make the machine more safe and not have the motor turn on unexpectedly. So we're going to go log out. And instead of this bit, we need an edge detection. So we're going to click on the space here, insert a box. Let's search for the rising edge trigger available in the TC2 standard library. We'll add that and we'll give it a instance name, rtrig enable motor. This will go ahead and do the auto declaration in main. Let's go and see in main, and there it is. Okay, so the be enable motor bit is the clock input, and its output is ANDed with the machine safety, and we get the motor relay output. All right, let's see what happens now. So this is true, that is true, but this is not true. Okay, we have to turn off the clock input, turn it back on. Hey, look, it still didn't turn on. What's going on? Well, if you remember from our presentation, I mentioned the output comes on for one scan only. So whatever logic you need to implement has to be done in that one scan. Well, you can't have the motor relay stay on forever. So what needs to be done is in that one scan, we need to be able to latch the motor relay output. So let's log out, and this thing needs to be latched. Fortunately, there's a way we can do that in TwinCAT by using the set reset command. So highlight the coil, click the set, and now this bit gets set whenever the rung statements are true. So let's take a look at how it works now. Okay, machine safety should be true. This should be true. And the motor relay comes on. So we should be able to turn on and off. Okay, it's not turning on. I mean, it's not turning off. That's because we haven't provided a means to reset it. So let's log out, insert another rung below, and whenever either of these two bits is off, this should be reset. So let's put a normally closed contact. So when this is not true, we should reset. So in this case, we can insert the reset coil directly and call it B motor relay. But what about this bit? Even if this is false, that should reset this as well. So since they are either or, we can add another NC contact in parallel to this one. So we can say insert negated contact below and B machine safety. So either this or this is false, we'll reset the motor relay. Let's download and see how this works. Okay, machine safety on should be true. B enable motor, and it turns on, and this should be able to turn off. Okay, good. Now what happens if the motor is running and there's a safety breach? So this bit will go false and the motor stops. Now after the safety has been restored, the machine safety OK bit from the controller will be true, and now the unexpected motor running has been prevented, even though the enable motor bit is still high. That's because now we don't care if it's high or not. We only care if there's a rising edge sent to the PLC, or to this logic rather. So let's turn this off and turn it back on, and that turns on our motor. Now let's see this implementation in structured text. So let's make some room here and add another program. We'll call it ST1 in structured text. Okay, let's edit that. I'm going to code it here. So we can use the ladder logic as a reference. So B motor relay gets set when B machine safety is true and we get a rising edge on the enable motor. So first we have to declare the edge. So let's go here and say, remember we declared the R trig enable motor trigger, and its clock input will be the B enable motor bit, like that. And its output gets ANDed here. Dot Q. Okay, so this represents our first rung, and then we need to implement the second rung. So not this or not this resets this. That means B motor relay gets reset when not B enable motor or not B machine safety okay. For clarity, I'm going to put these in parentheses just for visual clarity. Okay, let's go back to our main. We don't want the ladder logic to be running now, so we'll comment this line out and we'll call our ST1, and I'm going to bring this here and execute. Let's make sure our visualization is still connected. Yes. Let's not forget to start the PLC. I was going to check the machine safety okay bit. Yes, it comes on. So in order to run the machine or the motor, the safety okay bit and the enable bit, motor bit comes on, the motor is running. Yes, we are able to control the motor from here. The safety goes off. That turns off our motor. So far so good. When the safety comes back on, no unexpected running of the motor. So the operator would have to toggle the enable motor bit. Turn off, back on, and voila, motor is running. The falling edge detector works in exactly the same way. When you go to main, the falling edge detector can be instantiated in the same way. Let's say F trig enable motor, and instead of calling R trig, we call F trig. I will leave this as an exercise to the audience to implement F trigger and see how that works. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching and see you the next time.